friends, and welcome back to my New England story. Well, today we're going to do a little craft. We're going to do something a little different. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I showed you a few clips of some of my decor throughout the house that I consider to be kind of an English country cottage look. I love that look. I have loved it for years, and part of that look is fabric covered lampshades. So that's what we're going to attempt to make today. Now I see them all over Instagram or online. Once in a while I treat myself to the English Home magazine, and they have some form of a fabric shade there. It's covered, it's pleated, and to buy them, they're quite expensive. I don't know if you have looked at all, but I don't know how well this is showing up in the video. I'll insert some of the pictures that I'm seeing in the magazines, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I decided today to try to make my own, and I bought some fabric. This is just from Joann Fabrics. Let me show you the bigger one here. So it's a darker green with white flowers. The print is a white print. I liked it because it kind of reminded me of a William Morris print. I don't know if you're familiar with William Morris, but he was, I believe it was back in the 1800s. And he was a British textile designer, and I'm seeing them on different things on maybe Instagrammers or whatever from England. Anyway, this reminded me of a William Morris print. It is not. It was just from Joann Fabrics, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money because it's the first time I've done this. I have made in the past the fabric lampshades where it's just, you just kind of gather it around the top with a ribbon and you merely just place it on top. If I can find one, I'll insert a picture of what I'm speaking of. Again, you do see that in a lot of the English country homes, also that style. So today we're going to attempt to cover this. So what I've done, now I purchased, oh goodness, I didn't know really how much fabric I was going to need. My original intention was to cover 2 of these. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet or not. We'll see how this turns out. And so I purchased 2 yards of fabric, but depending on the size of your lampshade, my guess would be you would need anywhere between 1 to 1.5 yards. It all depends, possibly even less if you're just going to practice on a small lampshade. So then the strips that I cut, they were 2 inches wide, and so I merely just cut them, and I will insert a picture here of how I did that. So I cut my strips, they were 2 inches wide, and then I just pressed them shut. So now it looks almost like a bias tape. and then we're just going to go ahead and start gluing. Now, you do need a hot glue gun. My glue gun, oh my goodness, I've had that for, I bet, over 30 years. I got a new one. And again, I got this at Joann's, and the reason I did is because when I was reading on hot gluing fabric, it did recommend that you use a low temp glue gun, and mine was a high temp. So this one is actually dual. You can do high or low. So we're gonna try to do this, and it came with some glue sticks, but I purchased more. I don't know how much glue I'm going to go through. So it's really all you need. You need an iron, a measuring tape, obviously, and that's it. So we're going to do this for the first time together. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to put our first strip on here. I'm going to start along the seam. So let's just see if the glue is hot enough. Okay. And then we're just going to cover that seam right there. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a dot up here and down here for this next strip. Again, we're just going to kind of play here and see how this works. So let's just put one here and one down here. Okay. And then we'll just keep going. So far, so good. Now, I don't know. I may want to at some point. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. Whether or not I'm going to want to put any glue in the center here or not. Now, I know most of you probably have used glue guns before. You do have to be careful, especially if you have it on high. I do have mine on low. This glue does get hot. You can certainly burn yourself quite easily. So please be careful when you're doing this. Okay, so it's going pretty good. It's going rather quickly. I'm happy about that. We'll see how this turns out. So I personally have had a love of England. It started probably when I was about 10 years old. One of my aunt's neighbors was from England, and she was one of my aunt's better friends, and so we would go to her house to visit, and I loved her accent. She was just such a vibrant, fun person, and she would always share and show all of her teacups and tell stories about England, and her mother and sister still lived in England, and so she would show us different things that they would send, and that is what really kind of started. This one needs to be trimmed a little. Started my interest, I guess you could say. So, of course, I'm from the generation of Princess Diana, and I just adored her. I love oh gosh, William and Kate. Kate to me is just, she's just full of class. I just love her, and she's beautiful. But anyway, I love anything about the English country cottages, the Cotswolds. Someday I hope to go there. I've never been. That is on my wish list, my bucket list for sure, that I would love to go there. Of course, I want to see London, but I really want to see all of the beautiful old thatched cottages in the Cotswolds, or just the English country cottage. So hopefully someday I will make it. And then, of course, purchasing this house, it's old. And I mean, I love old things, obviously, but I thought it's a chance to implement a little more of my love of the English country cottage decor. I think it would fit in with this house nicely. So I'm trying to implement a bit of that. And another fun story is that one of the owners of this home, so she would be not the person we bought it from. I'm just going to trim this again a little. But the family that the previous owner had bought the house from, so 2 owners ago. And there's a story that, so she was directly from England. She and her husband lived here for a long time. I don't even know how long. I believe 30, 40 years. And I know this story because with the house came they gave us a little envelope with some of the history on the home and the owners, along with some pictures. And so this woman's name was Mrs. Earl, and I was told that her gardens were absolutely gorgeous. She really had like the English country gardens at the house. And I was also told that, I read in this letter that was written by, I believe it was one of her grandchildren, and they were telling stories about their time spent here in this house as children visiting their grandmother. But she always had tea every day in the afternoon, and I just loved that. That just added to my love of this house. So it and just another fun story, and another reason I wanted to maybe bring some more of the English love back into the house. And of course I have English blood in me, along with Irish and Scottish on my mother's side. So maybe that's where my love comes from also. So far it's coming out pretty good. We're gonna keep going here, and it's going rather quickly. Okay, so now that I'm coming to the end here, what have I learned along the way? One of 2 things. You could do an entire strip of glue here. I don't feel that you need it on every single strip, but doing it every once in a while certainly helps. However, you could also just do like I just did, the 3 dots. And then also every once in a while, glue on here to get it to adhere and stay in place a little more. That's merely my recommendations. So like I said, this has gone quite quickly. I'm very pleased with how fast this part's gone very fast. Like I said, it's kind of fun. It's a great little project for a day like today. It's kind of gloomy outside right now. It's a little chilly. So it's a good day to kind of stay in and just do a little craft project. But So yeah, this will be better once I stand it up. And look at this. I have 3 strips left. Oh my goodness. Talk about a great guess. I didn't measure. I merely just started cutting strips and guessing how many I will need. Talk about beginner's luck. Oh my goodness. I'm not a professional. I just play one on YouTube. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have 1 left. Look at that. I wish I could tell you I planned that out, but I didn't. So, okay, let's put this last one on, and then I will go and cut the trim for the top and the bottom of the drum. And so this one, we need to then put in the strip of glue right in here. I'm pleased with this little glue gun. It's worked great. See, I'm just tucking that in there. Jack's getting upset with me. I'm not giving him a lot of attention. So there we go. So let's go cut the other strip, the 2 strips for the top and the bottom, and then see, we'll just make sure everything's even when we're putting those on, and that will hold that down so much better. Okay, so I'm just finishing putting this on here. Again, just gluing. So I did measure the diameter on top here for this piece. Then I merely folded it in half, tucked the edges in, and that's what made my strip to just glue on top here. And I have to show you, because I don't want to lie, I did actually have 2 pieces left over. I found 1 more. So I'm not as good as I thought I was. So we're just going to keep gluing. I am starting to go through some more glue sticks, but that's okay because I'm almost done. Really, again, an easy project. I'm pleased with how it has turned out. Little threads here. I think I'm just gonna finish this off here. Okay, so we're at the end. And for this, I'm merely just going to tuck this under. Just make sure it's glued down really well. I am pleased with the low heat glue gun. I'll pull that out when it's dried. So that's it for the top. Okay, now we're just adding on the bottom trim. And just doing the same thing we did on the top. We'll get these little glue strings off when we're done. Okay. And then we're going to tuck this one under. May need a little more glue here. and then just hold it. Okay, so here's the finished product. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Okay, so here's the finished product on the lamp itself. One thing I will mention, as you saw at the beginning, I did do this on, it was already like a burlap covered lampshade. Not that I could take that fabric off. I'm not sure about that. So if I were to do it again, I mean, I would do it on a white lampshade. You know, obviously this is a little darker fabric, so it's going to be a little darker light coming through. The other thing I think I would do is that lower rim, you know, the last piece that I put on, I think I would cut that a little thinner. Or iron it so that it would be a tiny bit thinner. I don't know. I just think I would like that look a little better. But anyway, that's what I learned from the project. Very fun. Will I do it again? Yes, I think so. It was pretty quick. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little how-to video. Let me know if it's something you try or if you've done it before. I certainly would appreciate any tips you could give me. And I believe that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching, friends. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.